A huge warm welcome to Art Gallery Explorer Art Lovers. This is the vlog that takes you inside gallery spaces and celebrates the London art scene. Today I'm really excited for this show at the Royal Academy, which is pitting together works by Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo and Raphael, and focusing on the year 1504, when all three of them briefly crossed paths in Florence and competed for patronage from wealthy patrons. This was actually my number one anticipated show of 2024. There is a caveat to that. When I made that judgment, I was expecting it to be in the main Royal Academy galleries and be a blockbuster. I've now since found out that this show is actually going to be upstairs in the smaller galleries, but that doesn't mean I am still not beside myself with excitement to be in the world of these Renaissance greats. The show's on until the 16th of February 2025. It's £19 to get in, so come and join me as we head inside and explore some Renaissance greatness. The exhibition is split into three rooms, and the first room focuses very much on the Royal Academy's Michelangelo masterpiece, the Taddei Tondo. This Tondo is the only significant marble work by Michelangelo in a permanent UK collection, and it's beautifully displayed. It's certainly worth viewing this painting first to get a sense of Florence in the 1504 period that the exhibition's looking at, and you get a feeling for both the relatively small size of the city compared to today, but also the fact that it was this bustling metropolis where artists such as Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Raphael were drawn. The first drawings that we see are from Michelangelo, and there's some of the very earliest drawings that still survive from the early 1490s. And they've been brought to the exhibition to whet the appetite and to explore how Michelangelo developed as an artist. We're then brought forward to the period the exhibition is focusing on, that period around 1504, and we see some exquisite drawings by Michelangelo as he kind of circles and gets closer to the subject matter of the Taddei Tondo, which is a virgin and child with the infant St. John the Baptist. We get to kind of see the process of creating the Tondo play out in front of your eyes, and it's one of the reasons why this exhibition is so powerful. Round paintings or reliefs are known as tondi in Italian, or tondo in the signature. They were popular by the end of the 15th century, as you can see here from this example by Piero di Cosimo. Michelangelo had worked on one of his only surviving panel paintings, the Doni Tondo, as well as two marble reliefs which focus on the Virgin and the Child with the infant John the Baptist. The Pitti Tondo is not here, but the Taddei Tondo, the more important of the marble tondos, is very much in situ. It's the only marble sculpture by Michelangelo, as I said, within Britain, and it even though it's unfinished, it's widely considered to be one of his most important works. The exhibition comes alive when we see how Raphael was very much influenced by the Taddei Tondo, even in its unfinished state. And we see influence of the Taddei Tondo in lots of Raphael's sketches from the time. And it's kind of a magical moment when you're looking at these sketches and then you look back to the Tondo and you're kind of on the artist's shoulder, something that this exhibition does incredibly well. Eventually, and I'm really sorry I can't show you this, there was a no photo sign. These pictures of the Virgin and Child with the infant John the Baptist came to be shown in the Bridgewater Madonna, which I can't show you, but which is in the exhibition. Also see a similar theme of the Virgin and Child with the infant John the Baptist in the Esterhazy Madonna, which I can show you, lent from Budapest. 1504 began with a meeting discussing where to place Michelangelo's David statue within Florence. And one of the most thrilling moments of the exhibition is seeing this wonderful, simple sketch of David by Raphael. It is all about what the synergy of this show is about, looking at how the artists related to each other. The second room focuses on a work which is very well known to London art lovers, the Burlington House cartoon by Leonardo da Vinci, a very well-loved friend for those of us familiar with the National Gallery. This cartoon on 8 pieces of paper is one of Leonardo's masterpieces, In fact, Giorgio Vasari apparently said that men and women, young and old, continued for 2 days to flock for a sight of it to the room where it was, as if it to a solemn festival, in order to gaze at the marvels of Leonardo, which caused all those people to be amazed. The purpose of the cartoon has puzzled scholars for generations, but this exhibition proposes for the first time that Leonardo made the cartoon as a proposal for an altarpiece of a church in Florence. Room 3 focuses on two murals that were proposed but never produced for the Hall of the Great Council at the Palazzo della Signoria in Florence. These two murals, one produced by Leonardo and one produced by Michelangelo, were to have celebrated great Florentine victories which enshrined Florentine freedom. Leonardo was going to be producing a mural depicting Florentine victory over the Milanese at the Battle of Cagnari, whereas Michelangelo was tasked with portraying the Florentine victory over the Pisans at the Battle of Cassina. This was a time of immense Florentine pride, exemplified by the production of Michelangelo's David. And it's astonishing to think what that room would have been like if these two murals had been executed. Now, in 1504, these murals played a large part in both artists' minds. And so the works we see in this final room of the exhibition are mainly preparatory works for the murals that were never actually produced, although cartoons of them were, and they still had a huge influence. It's absolutely fascinating to see how the artists went about portraying the battles in different ways. Leonardo focused on ferocious combat, portraying horses and captains fighting, whereas Michelangelo chose to show neither violence nor actual war, but nude soldiers having cooled off in the river Arno, dressing hurriedly for battle. We see Leonardo preparing with some trademark anatomical studies, and whereas we see Michelangelo um, preparing with his obsession with the male nude, something which reaches its peak in a work that he produced famously, the Sistine Chapel ceiling, once this commission had been jettisoned. We are incredibly lucky in the UK to have one of the best collections of Renaissance drawings in the world at the British Museum, in the Royal Collection, at the Ashmolean, and elsewhere. And what I love about these works every time I see them is that you're sitting on the shoulder of an artist who is working out ideas. And it tells us that these artists, Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Raphael, yes, they were geniuses. But like all artists, they had to work hard. They were experimenting, they were trying out ideas, they were testing in these drawings for different combinations before creating the final finished product.
Well, art lovers, I hope you enjoyed that show focusing on the works of Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Raphael. It wasn't, I have to say straight away, the show I was expecting. I think the tagline Florence 1504 led me down a fantasy path of a blockbuster surrounding this year, bringing in loads of works and loads of influences. It wasn't that. It was an intimate, some would say understated, and academic show. And I love shows which focus on art history a lot. And so for me, I did really enjoy it, despite the fact it was not the biggie that I maybe hoped it was. And it did remind me, by the way, how lucky we've been and spoilt in London over the last few years to have shows like the Donatello show at the Victoria and Albert Museum, or the Raphael show a bit back now at the National Gallery, which were bona fide blockbusters with incredible loans. This had judicious loans, by the way, and you can't complain, can you, when an exhibition focuses on three of the greatest Renaissance works in Britain: the Taddei Tondo, the Bridgewater Madonna, and the Burlington House cartoon. So I'm not complaining at all. I did really enjoy it, and I love getting into the academics. In fact, when I think about these shows in terms of the good, the bad, and the beautiful, the good is certainly the curation, the way that the exhibition used these three big works as a springboard for exploring what was going on in France in this year, and showing how in the first and the third room the influence of these artists crossed over, if not really, really majorly. You get to see Raphael, this hungry younger artist, lapping up and learning from Leonardo and Michelangelo, and you see that several times. And I love the fact you see Michelangelo kind of looking across at what Leonardo is doing and being influenced by him almost despite himself. And then Leonardo seems to be in a world of his own, but with his imagination firing on all cylinders. You got a real sense of what was going on in Florence. And it's ironic, isn't it, that probably the most interesting room, the last one, concerns works, these murals in the Grand Council building that were never made. So I really enjoyed that. I love art history, as you know. I love learning more, and have certainly learnt more, for example, about the revelation about the possible reason for the Burlington House cartoon. So that was a massive thumbs up, a beautifully created show, supplemented, I should say, by some really judicious loans. Yes, there was the Esterházy Madonna from Budapest, but some of the drawings from Paris, for example, or the Netherlands or Vienna really helped make the show stronger. So that was excellent. In terms of the bad, I appreciate this isn't a blockbuster, and I'm not saying I wanted a blockbuster. It couldn't have been, and it's very, very hard to put on a blockbuster of Renaissance works because they're so highly prized and so hard to transport and to loan. But I would have liked a little bit more context. The painting of Florence, painted just in the decade or so before 1504, was valuable. But I would like to have seen a bit more about the city, the politics, the patronage going on in this period. I felt I was filling in the gaps a little bit, but that was just a sort of small criticism. I would have liked more about that. I'm not talking about massive projections of buildings. That's not what these galleries are about, and not what this intimate show's about. But a little bit more contextual information would have been nice. In terms of the beautiful, I absolutely adored this work by Raphael. It did exactly what I was saying in the good. It shows how he's being influenced by Leonardo and Michelangelo, and the simplicity of the line as he stares up at David is fantastic, and it's from an unusual position as well. Oh, this work by Leonardo, we're very lucky to have some of the best collections of drawings, Renaissance drawings in the UK, anywhere in the world, in the Royal Collection, in the Ashmolean, in the British Museum. And I've seen a lot of them over the years, and I always love seeing Leonardo firing off ideas left, right and centre, almost like artistic doodling. So I would take this one away if I could as well. Overall, it was a good show. It was a satisfying show. I give it an 8 out of 10. Some of you might say that £19 is a bit expensive for what is a 3-room show, but believe me, you'll want to go around it twice because it's so rich. And I think when you're looking at the quality of the works you see, that's actually reasonable value. It's, you're in there are very few countries in the world that could put on this show mainly from works that are based in that country, apart from obviously Italy. So it's a real pleasure to see it. It's a must see in my opinion. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's on until the 16th of February. It is selling out because it's small. Obviously there's not that many tickets per time slot, so do book. And there's been a theme this autumn, which I love in lots of ways, of great shows like the Van Gogh and the Monet shows selling out. So do book ahead if you can do. Thank you ever so much for watching. Lots more coming up. I've had a bit of a hiatus because of work and other things, but I'll be back on with lots more vlogs over the next few weeks. And do remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. And most importantly of all, get out there and explore your local art scene.